Yeah, we knew they'd be there. Those are friends of ours. But we like for you to see them in this wooded area while emphasizing the real key to survival thousands of years ago, and a practice that's still observed today. Never let anything go to waste. When you're successful in a hunt, it's meat for food, hides for clothing and shelter, gut, bone, sinew, antlers. Anything you don't eat, you make something out of it. Nothing is cast aside. Now what you see in the pen here is, of course, domesticated Reindeer tyrannus, which is the same genus and species as wild caribou. These are reindeer, but in all the ways that matter, they're virtually indistinguishable from their wild cousins, other than being a little smaller. You'll see they look a little scruffy right now because they're shedding out the last of the winter coat. Eventually, they'll have a nice thin dark brown coat for the summer. And then in the winter, they grow in a thick white coat, like you see around their necks. Reindeer are a little slower to shed it out than caribou. And every strand of hair is hollow. There's actually air trapped inside, which makes them naturally buoyant and also provides their winter insulation, kind of like a multi-pane window. Got really big feet, too. You see those wide split hoofs? It helps them keep their footing on snow or spongy tundra. And when their food is buried in the wintertime, they can shovel right down through several feet of snow to get to the moss and lichen underneath. And in fact, that word caribou has to do with their feet. It's a Mi'kmaq word originally. It means deer who paws the ground. Both male and female grow antlers, too. Only type of deer where that happens normally. And both sexes will drop them later in the year, too. They're not permanent like horns. You notice how all the antlers are in velvet right now? That's what they call that furry layer of skin protecting the blood supply underneath. But in the fall, they'll get the urge as they come into the rut, they'll get the urge to rub all of that off against trees, kind of like an itchy old scab. Then their antlers look like bone or mahogany for a little while. After they reproduce, then, all the antlers just drop off to the ground. Males lose theirs first. Females a little later because they've evolved to defend the young, but eventually the females shed their antlers and everybody grows new ones. So that's just this year's growth, you see, and it's still early in the season. Wild caribou are doing very well in Alaska. 750,000 to 1 million of them typically in the count. In 35 distinct herds. Domesticated reindeer were first brought here from Siberia right at the end of the 1800s to augment the food supply, because you can't take caribou from the wild and bunch them up in a pen and expect them to behave. They really need to be born and raised that way, obviously. And still to this day, native people are the only ones allowed to have reindeer from those original Siberian stocks. Because this bunch is domesticated, they understand how to live on cue.